first that we are in a tie match at the drop. Double gen pop to avoid the deadlock. They do go down. There is a haste status effect. They did be careful here. The hatch is going to spawn momentarily. Deadhard could get them the distance to get it too. Shot.
Really smart play on the ace. Oh my god, getting shot through the window.
No longer have distortion, and they are going to teleport here. I think they get there in time. Yes!
Holy crap, yes!
Oh my god!
That is disappointing. This is be a 4-man out because...
Yeah, but they will be able to block this. Yo, getting caught on that. Ace coming with the body block. Oh, they were here. Welcome back, everybody, to Champions of the Fog. I'm your host, littlerugaard, and joining me today is none other than Giltspire, the Lord himself. How you doing today? You ready for the round 2?
I am ready and raring to go. We are jumping right on in where we are going to see Trauma's Blight versus Eviscerate Survivor team on the Suffocation Pit. And it's a S tier mirror match slug out that we are getting here today.
I'm kind of into it. I'm glad you said that it was Trauma first because I forgot that we swapped sides because, again, it is a mirror match. So I just have a spreadsheet. I don't know if anything changes on the back end, so I'm just here for it. But with that said, yeah, it's going to be a mirror. It's going to be on Suffocation Pit, which I've always had mixed feelings when it comes to Blight on Suffo Pit. It sounds like a headache to me, but they seem to make it work somehow. I don't know how, though.
Yeah, no, I feel there that middle jungle gym can be really rough dependent on the RNG, but these teams seem to make it work one way or another. And we do got the Blight rushing out, moving towards main side as the Corrupt pretty good. And it's not the best reach in the world back here, but it's good enough, I'd say, for Blight.
About to say, with a certain combination of perks, I'm sure the Blight can manage. Especially in these S tier matches, what we expect to see most of the time is how many generators can the survivors pop, and I imagine they're gonna get at least 4.
Okay, seriously, 4C, our averages we've seen are like around 3, 4, so that does check out. You know, we have a lot of data that we are collecting on the back end of these S tiers, and Ada just barely able to vault that pallet in time before the Blight gets the vacuum pallet. And looks like Ada will try and go to his pallet here, but will get down by the Blight. Really good job there.
Yeah, really good mind games for the most part, but unfortunately, once the Blight was on the other side of that, there's just not much you can do. It's a 4 wall, and that is not where you want to be versing a Blight. They did as much they could, but Blight's going to take their hook and probably go back to double check their 3 gen back here. Wait, hold on, there's scratch marks?
Yeah, looks like Survivor got a little in there, trying to get in early, potentially a deli, I imagine. I think we'll see a 1-for-1 trade here, but
they didn't go for it.
Jake not going for it, not wanting to go for the trade, potentially not a deliverance after all. And this sets up Blight for a really, really strong start as they will just narrowly miss the Jake, as Jake will also get a stun as well. And we'll see a gen pop resistance on top of which.
Indeed, we see Deadlock over here, so there was a survivor working on this generator. Ada's going to get immediately tunneled out here after the Zarina got the unhook, and Survivor's just kind of chilling a little bit. Okay, so worth noting, the Deadlock gen was the one on the 3 gen side, which is really surprising, so someone snuck back there as soon as the down occurred.
Yeah, it also means that the gens over here probably have not been worked on at all. We haven't got a good look at these gens here, but they don't look like a bad gen spread. We got 1 gen on either side of Shack, and another one pretty close to. Honestly, the Blight has 2 really good 3 gen setups here, and especially with the hook and basement, there's a real possibility that they camp the Ada out to death here.
I would imagine so, yeah. Looking at the gen spread on the Shack side here, yeah, you can completely abandon that side of the map. You don't really care about it now. This is more than maintainable as a Blight, especially, oh man, it's a hill gen too, so unless you get your balanced landing out there, that is a dead zone.
Yeah, not to mention the Blight can really just kind of choke these survivors out as they're able to stand on that hill, but Blight opting to still play the entire map here. I mean, if any killer is able to do it, it's definitely the Blight with their movement speed. But we do see a survivor on their way towards the unhook, and it looks like Blight will try and intercept them. seeing if they're actually here in the middle, but looks like I think they just held W towards Shack.
I thought so. I thought they held to the right, but Blight knew something we didn't know, and yeah, they do finish a generator here, but I think that's 2 survivors on that generator, which means this Serena is the only one on this side of the map, and that means that she might be the only one able to go for this unhook, as this 8 is very close to dying. That's a hit.
And with
Oh,
the
no.
mid-vault, that is guaranteed to be a hit. I saw the mid-vault happen. You know what I say every time. Mid-vaults are gift to every single killer, and Zarina given a holiday gift to Blight right there.
Absolutely, and that is the death hook secured in the basement. I said they could get 4 gens done. These next 2 generators are going to be hard fought if they're able to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Blight, though, trying to chase out the Jake, leaving the slug on the ground for an extended period of time. Not sure the reason behind it, but I mean, it means that the Survivors have to go for that pickup, as we would have seen an Unbreakable happen already. And it looks like these Survivors just going through the resources deal in main.
I think what it is that was the survivor that got the unhook, the only successful unhook of the game, and assuming that Jake doesn't have Deliverance, it could be Zarina technically, so they might be trying to hold out on that Unbreakable. Honestly, at this point, you don't need to use the Unbreakable. It doesn't save you anything, in my opinion. You need to save it for when you are really starting to hurt in the later part of this game, where maybe you need to get that 4th generator done to try and secure at least a decent condition for your Blight. Even if she does have Unbreakable and she's the Deliverance player, I wouldn't have used it there.
Yeah, you know, fair point, fair point. I'll agree with that thought process. However, these Survivors keenly aware of the existence of both Pop Goes the Weasel and Eruption here. So we know the full Blight build: Eruption, Eruption, Pop, Deadlock, and Corrupt Intervention. And so things are gonna look pretty grim, I think.
Riddle me this, because I actually do not know this interaction. Does Eruption explode through Deadlock?
Yes. Yes, I believe it does. I know at least it used to, but it's been a hot minute since I've really interacted with Deadlock and Eruption together. But I believe it's much like Jolt, in the same way that when NC blockers are up, it'll still eat through and regress it by that X%.
Okay, because yeah, I think they popped the gen, so Deadlock was active right before the Survivor went down for Eruption. So I was curious if it even reduced it at all, but. All right, so
yeah, we'll be able to tell during the score event. We will see a Survivor move the second stage just barely before that unhook. Jake now on death hook and in a pretty grim spot, as they're 1 hook away from being sent back to the campfire via the entity.
Absolutely, and yeah, no Deliverance just yet. No Unbreakable scene either. These Survivors have not been able to utilize any of their second chance perks whatsoever. And Blight, if they're able to hold this to 3 gens up somehow, I am going to be both horrified and impressed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they've been doing a really good job here, to say the least. And Blight, take a look at these lockers, hoping to find a Survivor hiding in them, but they will in fact find 2 right there, and the Jake on death hook. This is exactly who the Blight wanted to find. And I think if they get the Jake down and out of the match, I think that will close it out at 2 gens completed.
It's a very good chance. Wait, hold on, no shot. There's a decisive here?
I'm not sure if this is bait or what, but Blight now worried about a bit of head-on as well, as they're trying to bait that out and just kind of count down the seconds. The question is, do they have enough time to wait? That is the head-on!
They do have the head-on there. However, not what I was expecting. Was that maybe a fake out on the decisive in hopes of it? I don't know, but
maybe it's both. Maybe we're seeing the new meta, the decisive head-on combo.
Quite possibly, and there is that Eruption again on both of those generators. We did see a Survivor at the top of that hill, and they are getting distance here, but this is lights out. And yeah, I think at this point, it'll be a miracle if they can get a 3rd gen here. That was such a strong start from this Blight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see this gen here with a little bit of progression, but not enough for the Blight to be all too concerned. Trying to take their time here to reapply Eruption and get the pop value to boot. And they are well aware that the Survivor is nearby. The question is where, but they can't waste any time, as they need to go back towards Shack's side.
I'm about to say, yeah, if you can hold this to 3 gens done, you essentially gave your Survivor team one of the best shots of taking the set. It's not difficult to get 2 gens done. The 3rd generator and on is where it starts to get a bit difficult, but if they know what the win condition is, nobody does anything. You just sit on gens. It's the same principle for pub match. Everybody just gens for friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And And we see the Blight and chase now with the Zarina. Question is whether or not they can get them down before that gen on the other side of the map is able to be completed. So far, Zarina holding out well here, but they will take a hit before they get to this vault.
They will, and the question is, do they run into Shack? They do run into Shack. They do have the resources here, and yeah, they're going to pre-drop that immediately. They still have that vault location in the back. It's just a matter of how long can this chase last. That survivor is definitely generating. Ooh, a little bit of hug tech there, but they got bounced off of it. And I think Serena went back to, yeah, she has this pallet still. The question is, can they get the mind game here? They do, but she gets vacuumed. They get the vacuum. That's huge. Yeah. This might be able to allow them to complete this generator because they still have this pallet over here. They might be able to get this third generator down.
This is going to come down to seconds. Risky speaking, that Pop Goes Weasel earlier on that half progress gen was huge, but it's going to come down to this. Serena will go down, and
no
that
scream
is eruption. Yeah, no scream, so that's only 10% off, 9 seconds. Though Blight going for the slug out play, and we did speculate that Serena had Deli. I think now's the time for that.
There's no progress on it.
Yeah, you're right.
They were not going for the generator. I think they're trying to force a bleed out hatch scenario here. Yeah, there's no gens worked on. I think they're gonna try and save the Ada here. And in fact, if there is Deli on the Zarina, they could force a variety of scenarios here to get someone out.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Rebecca kind of hiding out here, potentially on the outskirts. Blight thinking that too, as they are checking every nook and cranny possible. But the time is ticking down, and Zarina now at just about 2 minutes into their bleed out timer. Blight needs to find this Rebecca quick, or just go for the hook.
Yeah, that's the other issue with this, is that that Arena's still fresh. So in the event that they bleed out, you don't lose all the points, but you're still losing a pretty significant amount. And with the way that you know, this map has a ton of line of sight blocking, I wouldn't be surprised if they manage to hide the Zarina.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very real possibility, but time will tell as things are taken down. And if, in instance, they do have that Unbreakable, it means that they don't need to rely on the Rebecca to come and pick them up before the timer ticks down. They'll just be able to 99 it, sit on that, let the bleed out happen, and then pop right on up at the right time.
Oh, that's such a good point, too. Yeah, if they are, in fact, the Unbreakable Deliverance Survivor and they did hold it, that will be absolutely huge. That might have even been their play from the beginning, possibly, knowing the, you know, how these games go against a Blight. But yeah, this Ada, I'm sorry, not Ada, Rebecca is completely hidden. And yeah, they did find the Serena. We do hear her moaning.
Yeah, we found her back on the ground again, and I think Blight needs to make a decision here to pick or not to pick. And looks like Blight kind of realizing that too will go for pick, as just about 60 seconds are left on the bleed out timer here. And we are going to see the first hook here for Zarina and see if they do in fact have a deliverance.
Well, with the way the game is going now, I don't know if you even bother popping the deliverance.
I mean, there's no reason not to, right? Because you kind of put the Blight into a bit of a scenario, but there's no real progress on the gens either. So it's a really give and take scenario, right? You know, by not deliverancing, you kind of don't force that bleed out play. And with this Serena being here on Shack's side too, it means that there's a very unlikely chance for them getting that hatch escape. And so I feel like the deliverance, if it is in the Serena's hands, probably should be popped and just trying to run towards main side and really forcing that bleed out.
You know, that's a very fair point. Also worth noting the additional, oh, she's here! I'm about to say, with the additional lockers, you might feel a bit safer down here. And yeah, Rebecca felt safe down here. Now you have the deliverance in the back pocket, though. I would have waited. I would have dropped her on the ground, because now the deliverance could go and rush and save her.
Yeah, that's a very real possibility. However,
we're not seeing it.
We actually don't. Yeah, we're not seeing it just yet. Could be like a 59-second deliverance, but no deliverance on the Zarina. They, in fact, may have not had it. I wonder if it was actually the Jake after all.
It might have been. That would have been why they made it really prioritized. But the fact that they didn't go for the unhook when they had the time for the hook trade is kind of surprising. So yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. Now the question is did Rebecca unhook anybody?
Yeah, that's a good question, but I don't believe so. It looks like the Blight's confident enough to say no, as well as they move to the other side of the map, fully confident that the Rebecca cannot unhook themselves. And sure enough, the Blight was right, as Rebecca will be sent back to Campfire via the Entity, and Blight getting the 4K at only 2 gens completed.
Yeah, trying to hide out for the hatch play did not pay off in the end, and Trauma's gonna have a very strong Blight game. Very good start for their Survivor Squad. And Ada had Deliverance, okay. That's what I was curious about.
So the Ada had Deliverance.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So they were the first.
Yeah,
on
they were the
hook,
first one
correct?
hooked. So yeah, it was all downhill.
Yeah, quite the unfortunate scenario. But that being said, we are going to be getting trial number 2 set up. This time, Eviscerate's Blight versus Trauma Survivor team, and it's going to be an uphill battle as Trauma just needs 2 gens to tie and 3 to take the set. But we'll have to wait and see as we get this lobby set on up. But before we do go on a quick break, we do want to remind everyone here today that you, yes, you the viewers, are our sponsors. So that as they watch all the bits they tip, all the subs they buy, and of course all the Rogue Energy you buy using the code COTF goes to supporting Channel the Fog and our prize pools for Group A and Group B. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit.
everybody. Welcome back to trial number 2, the second half of the Blight Mirror. And I'm not gonna lie, Eviscerate's got a tall order here. This is going to be tough to pull out. I mean, Blight's good, and we know that they're a good Blight, but 3 gens remaining.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're thinking about the timing, 2 survivors on gens takes 55 seconds. So 1 gen out of the way right then and there. If a 3rd survivor's on another gen, just another 35 seconds thereafter, the 2nd gen's completed and a tie set is established. So this Blight is going to have to play absolutely out of their mind in order to secure a win. Getting a tie is not outside of impossibility, but as long as these survivors play smart and play well, I think that it is almost guaranteed that this is going to be a win for Trauma.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, to mention, I probably should have specified when I said, oh, it's going to be so hard, 3 gens up. That's to tie. Wait, they're just looking not to lose. They're not looking at winning. They're looking not to lose, which is just never where you want to be. So
yeah, it's a rough situation, but V1 definitely is a well-known Blight player, and they do play well as they do get a hit there on the Jake. Pretty good stuff there to start off with. Take a look at the gen, not a lot of progress, and looks like we are going towards main side as Jake is going to vault in and go for a bit of a sprint.
Yeah, but I say they do get that really well-positioned bounces there. Again, coming in with all that experience. However, Corrupt is now offline. First hook incoming here, but this is step 1. All right, how about 2 through 8? Which is involves finding every other survivor, slugging them out, and hoping no unbreakable, and that's your hook.
Yeah, I mean, that might end up being the general gameplay here, is really just focusing on the slug plays. We do see the ace right here. This gen with a decent amount of progress. Blight takes time to get a pop, goes the weasel.
Good value.
We also see highlighted in yellow right there, so that they're either being a Call of Brine or a eruption. And we do see the Nancy back here who will take a hit. Honestly, really, really good play here. This is going to slow things down quite a lot for these survivors, as they're not going to want to jump back on this gen right away.
Absolutely, doing a really good job there. However, they do get the stun. Blight's going to be able to have his brushes back, though, and Nancy's going to have to play this absolutely perfectly. Ace does come back to touch the gen, though. However, Ace is now in a bit of a dead zone. This could result in a second hit. They haven't reset the Jake, which means Jake is currently working on a gen somewhere. Blight, well aware of this. Yeah, they do reset the Jake after all. Never mind, bite my tongue. Caster's curse. Oh my goodness, that mid-volt!
As I said last trial, and I'll say it again, every mid-vault is a gift to a killer, and the holiday presents are rolling on in as the ace does go down. Second hook here, and eruption, regressing that gen range by 10%. 9 seconds off that gen in total. The survivor's actually in a bit of a difficult position.
True. Interesting enough, they're not going across the way to go pop another gen. They're actually sticking around nearby. And it looks like they're going to force a hook trade here. I'm guessing Nancy might have that deliverance.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good bet. And I
One
think
gen
the
down.
Blight wanting to make this unhook as unsafe as possible. Trying to get in and go down, or go to get the ace down on the ground. They do successfully do so. There's a
Deadlock.
threat of decisive strike, though.
Yeah, they have deadlock, though. So, yeah, 2 slugs on the ground. Deadlock on that one gen. And they will have Pop Goes Weasel by the time it comes off. They might be able to stabilize a little bit. Still looking at trying to get that tie condition, but they're not in a bad spot now. They actually have something in the way of coming back here.
Yeah, it's definitely not side the realm of possibility, especially as Ace going onto second stage here. He is one hook away from being sent back to the campfire via the entity, and an early out like this could be game-changing for V1 and Eviscerate.
Absolutely. Yeah, we see Blight going back to the other gen that was deadlocked. Not as much progress as I would have expected unless they have jumped on a separate gen. There's the deliverance. There's the unhook as well. All survivors are back, but now applying eruption to that generator as well as... Yeah, you can apply eruption here as well. If you find that ace and down them, that could be what V1 needs here.
Instead, we find the Nancy get into town. We did not see the decisive strike on the ace, and so this could be a decisive here on the Nancy on the deliverance, but does not appear to be the case, and that was also an eruption in the distance. We saw them incapacitated for 25 seconds.
I'm about to say, yeah, they got really good eruption value there. Going to the corner of the map, trying to see if maybe Ace is trying to reset, because, yeah, now you really need to hide the Aces. Ace is a huge asset now. You need them to be on agendas the whole time, because they've actually put on a significant amount of pressure.
Yeah, this is huge, and keep in mind...
No, Nancy's dead.
Yeah, Nancy's on death
For the people?
too. We might see a for the people.
Oh, no, I think they got messed up.
Still broken. Yeah, Nancy's still broken from the deliverance. That's how fast the down and unhooks were. They probably could have waited just a little bit longer, as there's the broken stats effect going away, and Nancy being sent back to the campfire via the entity. That is one survivor out at 4 gens. I think that mistake there may have just cost them, as I imagine Jake had that for the people in hand.
They did, but now worth noting, no gens on this side of the map have a significant amount of progress. Only on Shaq's side, if they've worked on it, will there be a gen with progress at this point, which... I don't know about you. We went from, honestly, I don't want to call it too early, but this killer might be pulling out what we considered impossible. Not only maybe possibly looking at a tie condition, they've set themselves up to win, potentially.
Yeah, which is absolutely huge. Like, though, realizing that they can't spend too long over here, going to the opposite side, and let's see who might be here. And that's Ace!
That's a survivor that's dead!
Yeah, no, this is absolutely huge. They need to get this down ASAP, trying to find where these scratch marks have gone, but no sign of them after the hit. Though Ace, oh no, Nia's here. Those were the scratch marks that they're seeing and getting the hit on them as well. Jake, the only one who's currently healthy and off of the hook.
Yeah.
And looks like we're going to probably see Nia going down here.
Ooh, Nia did a good flick there, wasting as much time as possible. However, yeah, that had to have been the med kit because Jake was interested in that, and there's no other survivor on the side of the map, so that was definitely a self-care. Now the question is, how long does the Z-Wall last? Eruption is applied to that generator. If Ace is able to get back on it and finish it, that will be the tie condition. However, they do go down. Eruption procs. Deliverance is over. They're going to leave him slugged. They are way too cautious. They do not want to give this Ace a chance.
Yeah, but no sign of the Ace on that gen. And I'm thinking that they can go in and get the hook here, giving them Papa's Weasel. Those scratch marks incoming. Those are
Jake?
healthy scratch marks of that. That's the Jake, and he will take the hit. Blight with 2 tokens to regen. This could be a very quick down.
It very well could be. There we see the rush. Blocking, but not enough, and that is the down. Where is Ace?
Yeah, that is the unknown factor. Can Trauma Survivor team bring it back and get one more generator? Blight very concerned about this one, but there's no
there's
sign
other
of the
one.
Ace. They could be on the other side of the map. There's still 3 other generators to be concerned about.
But I say, yeah, and there is this one on this side. However, Ace is over here. We are looking. If they are able to pull out the win condition area, yeah, making sure that you break this, not wanting to give them any chance of any pickups coming back over, make sure it regresses. I think they might have just pulled off the impossible.
Yeah, I think you're right here. No unbreakable. There's the
word.
death at the pallet and the 3-man slug. At this point in time, what the survivors... I'm trying to think if it's even possible. Is there
Unless
a
the
survivor?
unbreakable wasn't on the deliverance player.
So here is the potential win here, or at least draw for Trauma. And I think they just lost it as Nia here needed to bleed out.
Right.
And with her no longer being on the ground, I think even with the Jake bleeding out, I think Eviscerate will take this even if it's by 1 point.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was thinking unbreakable. Because here's the thing: you've got at least 2 minutes. You're a Blight. You can search the map. It's not going to be too difficult for you to find where these survivors are bleeding out. I'm just thinking if there is an unbreakable, but they would have used it by now on the somebody. At least you'd think. I don't know. I'm still kind of in shock. I was thinking this is going to be a really tough tie condition. And V1 showing up and saying, "Hold my beer, watch this."
Hold my beer, more like hold my blighted serum, as
Right?
they played it out of their mind, really taking the spirit of the Blight and just absolutely dominating this match. I do think that for the people in misplay, though, earlier, really did mess the survivors up with that early out on the Nancy. They need to leave her on the hook just for a few moments longer, but because they were broken still, the 40 people wasn't able to apply, and Nancy went out of the game so early.
Absolutely. Now it's just a matter of where's the survivor on the ground. Worth noting, too, is that, you know, oftentimes we come into these impossible win conditions and we say this is why we play it out. This is literally why we play it out, because you have... This is a 1 in maybe, 15, 20 game scenario where a team is able to pull back what is considered a near impossible feat, and all these perks played into it. Pop got so much incredible value. It was borderline sickening. You had Deadlock come in and just do absolute work. I will say, they aren't able to find this survivor, it seems like.
Yeah, they are struggling to do so, and there's a very real possibility that they do bleed out. I'm still not 100% certain what the points look like, but I think it's still 1 point in favor of Eviscerate with the bleed out from the Jake.
Very possibly. Also worth noting, we are inside the 1 minute mark, so I'm just gonna bring it on over to our Jake buddy. They're actually not too far away from Shaq.
Yeah,
but they're not on
They
Shaq.
are within line of sight, but Blight being all the less wise and not knowing that the Jake is there, Jake just kind of wiggling back and forth, trying to avoid the crows.
Indeed, and it looks like they will deny. This will be a denial of 1 point because of yeah, the second stage is worth 2 points. They're only going to get 1, but that's still that's the win con.
What? Yep, that is 1 point enough. 1 point difference, mind you. Eviscerate will take set number 1.
Wow.
I mean, I'll be honest in saying,
Wait.
I really did count them out, and that was absolutely insane.
Ace is missing a perk. Is that just the spectator bug?
I don't know. That's an excellent question. I am not aware. But either ways, it did get played out, and that's a 1 point difference in favor of Eviscerate, taking set number 1. We are going to be moving into set number 2 now, where it is a nurse mirror match. And we're going to be starting off with Eviscerate playing the nurse on the cold tower. But before we jump right on in, we are going to go on a quick break. Before we do, though, we do want to remind everyone here today that we are partnered with Pugdom. Pugdom is a Dead by Daylight competitive community very similar to ours. In fact, they are going to be hosting the second half, or actually the entirety of Group B over on their channel for Season 6. So definitely make sure to stop on by, say hi, drop a follow, and join their Discord too if you're interested in participating in Group B's qualifiers coming here shortly. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit.
Stay tuned, everybody. Well, what perfect timing. That replay was just about to the point where we watched a bleed out happen for about 2.5 minutes. So welcome back, everybody. We're at the second half of this where we had a nurse mirror on the docket, and I can only imagine it's going to be just as exciting as the previous matches.
Yeah, honestly, this is going to be one hell of a match. We're going to be seeing Laser here piling the nurse for Eviscerate, or for Trauma rather, and it's going to be coming down to the wire as we are going to be seeing whether or not Eviscerate can close this out. They won set number 1. If they start off with a strong 4K here as nurse, they might just close this out entirely.
It is a very good possibility. Very, very good possibility. And looking at this corrupt on the coal tower here, very good corrupt zone. This is kind of what you want to see, where you have these 3 on this side really close together. Did they not see the survivor right there, or are they trying to play dumb? Nah, I think they're trying to play dumb.
Yeah, at the very least, they definitely see these scratch marks going towards the shack side. This is actually exactly where the nurse wants to go, as these are the uncorrupted gens. So kind of forcing the survivors to chase in a bad position. Nancy, though, kind of breaking line of sight there. Nurse not going for it, and will get the swing and the down really, really early down, too. So this is huge for the nurse here. And I will note we got a bit of a speedy nurse, as they do have a bit of agitation.
Yeah, they want to go for this central hook here, make any kind of unhook attempt very unsafe. Having the gen right next to it as well, they're going to be able to use Pop Goes the Weasel. Not as effective as, you know, if it was at a little bit, you know, above 80, but it will do some work regardless. However, look at that. There's 2 gens that are very much out of line of sight for the nurse here, and they've actually got to patrol a little bit wider.
Yeah, you're right. So the RNG, as far as the gens are concerned, is not horrible. The question is now, will the nurse at this point in time slow things down and force the second stage progression, or are they going to go out and venture and see where these survivors might be working on gens?
It doesn't seem to be the case, as also that gen is highlighted in yellow. There's a hill gen that is unspoken for at the moment, and unless they're... I can't see where that is, but I think that, yeah, that is that one of those gens that you can't see right there. Survivor is behind there. I believe it's the Neo, so they are going to try and set up some kind of hook save here, but yeah, they're just going to take the hook trades? Is this a grab? That is...
Yeah,
wait, what? Huh. Well, you don't see that every day. That was interesting. They do get the unhook on the Jake as well. However, Nancy going to be a very prime tunnel target here, as Nurse didn't waste any time whatsoever having to stop that. I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen that before. That is a first.
I have seen it on the rare occasion. That is definitely a little bit of a treat, for lack of better term. And Nurse bringing the Nancy right back.
Agitation value.
Yeah, the agitation value actually is real here, but that is huge here for the Nurse and Laser. And that grab, once again, we saw the key moments last match with the Nancy being broken for the 4-to-people play, and that grab there, that might be a keystone moment once again for Eviscerate.
It really might be. We'll have to see. And they do get the 4-to-people off. Wait, who is the 4-to-people on? That wasn't Nancy.
Yeah, I don't know there. That's a really good question.
Was that an accident? I'm really confused. I'm really curious now. Oh, they blocked the line of sight. Oh my goodness, the amount of counterplay on both of these sides is insane. And now Nancy's death hook. We still have 4 generators to go. Are they gonna take the central hook here?
Yeah, it looks like they're bringing back to the central hook. I'm not exactly sure why. You know, Nancy being sent back to the campfire via the entity. That hook is now gone. But
no corner
maybe they're
tech.
just confident enough that they'll be able to get these fires down where they need. And we do see Jake there. And looks like they will go down quite quickly, too.
They will, but they did break the coal tower side 3 gen. And oh my goodness, Pop Goes Weasel is going to be absolutely massive here on this generator. They're not going for the unhook or the hook just yet. And yeah, actually, that center hook will prevent any kind of abstract corner plays that survivors try to play into. But I mean, to be fair, you have agitation. I don't know if corner strats would even work here, honestly. Now the question is there a 3rd generator being worked on besides this one?
Yeah, that is the question of the day. But Jake being 1 hook away, being sent back to the campfire via the entity. The survivors are in a rough position. The question
They touched this.
Yeah, they did, and that means that someone's around. Nurse knows it too, and maybe survivors just weren't aware of the Pop Goes the Weasel just yet.
They might not have been. They might have not been looking at those extra orange sparks. Which, by the way, cute little thing that Behavior did for that, giving the generator a little bit of extra explosion to signify Pop Goes the Weasel. You don't see too many things like that anymore.
Yeah, it's those little details, and though there are some things here and there that really do kind of catch the eye and are good details, Pop definitely being one of those good ones. And we see the Nurse just kind of camping here. I think they're pretty confident, especially with that gen still regressing behind them. And I believe that Jake will be sent back to the campfire via a progression, as there is no kinship here.
Agreed. And my guess is survivors are doubling up on a gen in the corner somewhere, trying to get an X generator done, realizing that now is kind of this instance where, yeah, there you go. You want to get as many generators done to give your Nurse a best chance as possible. So 3 generators have been done. The big question here is, can they get a 4th one done if someone goes on a really, really good chase? This looks like this is the injured Nia, though. However, Ace nowhere to be found. Yeah, Ace back here, and says that they were working on that 4th generator. However, now going to be pushed off of it. And with Eruption going to this generator, whatever chase they take here will be very good for them. The question is Nia going to be able to rotate around and finish it? That's about an 80% generator.
Yeah, honestly, really well progressed. More than I was honestly expecting. It looks like they actually were on split gens and just had some progress there. And Nia was able to get the other hill gen complete. So now if Nia's able to rotate around or potentially even go for that gen that we see highlighted in yellow there by main, that could mean that we do see a 4th gen. And if we do see that, that puts Trauma's Nurse in a really good position.
Absolutely. And we even see it from the Nurse player. Looking around, seeing if Nia rotated, but it doesn't look like Nia rotated back. You're right, they did go for this generator, highlighted in yellow. Now the problem is, even if they, Eruption is going to damage the generator that Ace had been on previously. Are they going to go for the pickup or not? They are going to go for the pickup. I believe they are very confident that Ace won't be able to finish that generator back in the corner before this last hook occurs.
Yeah, not to mention that they are on the gen, that's going to mean a Pop Goes Weasel's in hand. So A's going to be in a little bit of a difficult position, as that could be some huge amount of regression here for the Nurse. A true 20% off the gen if it is close to 99%. But Nurse taking a look at the gen and not forcing a blink right away, trying to suss out where the Ace might be.
There's only 2 pistons on it, I think. I don't think they're actually working on it. Yeah, it looks like they gave up on the generator play and are instead trying to go for some kind of hatch play instead. But they found the Ace. It doesn't matter. This is lights out. They're going to get a 4K at 3 gens done.
Yeah, it would seem that way. No deliverance either coming in from the Nia. And with Jake got up onto the hook, that there will close out this trial number 3 of set number 2. And we are going to be going on the flip side soon. Honestly, it could have gone a lot worse. We saw a lot of gens with a lot of progress. Ace, though, threatening that deliverance unhook, but we'll have to wait and see. Could it be like a last-minute play if they see that bleed out?
It is next to hatch.
Oh, this is a very real possibility. Nurse Cena, too, kind of like...
You need to go sit on that hatch. If they time it perfectly, you can't, but I think you need to sit on the hatch.
I think you're right. And there's the death animation incoming. Nurse gonna have to go back for that hatch soon if there is a deliverance. I mean, hatch is right next to an exit. I see no reason not to already be on top of it, honestly, but no deliverance from the Ace. Just a little bit of bait to get underneath the Nurse's skin.
Yeah, maybe, riling up maybe that anticipation, but yeah, no deliverance on the Ace, and that will be the 4K at 2 gens remaining. Really strong play from this Nurse, and now it all comes down to how can Trauma handle it with their own Nurse. And oh, Nancy had the deli and the unbreakable. They didn't get any value at all from that.
Yeah, that is rough to say the least.
I'm wondering if the For the People was incorrectly used. Maybe it was meant to be on somebody else. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell like what the thought process was there, but I'm sure comms can get quite hectic at times, and maybe the wrong survivor was called out. But either ways, that there will be the 4K at 3 gens completed. Trauma now need to get the 4K at 2 gens. If they tie the match, if 3 gens are completed with our current tiebreaker rule set, the win will go in favor of Eviscerate. Though, just heads up, we are making a little bit of a change to that for Season 6, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But with that being said, we are going to be switching sides here with Trauma's nurse setting up in lobby as we speak. But before we do go, we do want to remind everyone here today that you, yes, you, the viewers, are our sponsors. So the ads that you watch, all the bits that you tip, all the subs that you buy, and of course, all the rogue energy that you buy using the code COTF goes to supporting Champions of the Fog and our prize pools for Group A and Group B. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit.
Stay tuned, folks. right, everybody, welcome back. It is all down to this. Can Trauma force set number 3 with a tie? Or, sorry, not with a tie, but with a win to force the tie. I can't talk today. I don't know. But it's possible. Nurse is definitely a killer that can pull it off, but it's going to be so difficult. This is such a difficult one.
It is going to need to be, with the current tiebreaker rules, a 4K at 2 gens or less completed. That is the only way to secure victory. So we'll have to wait and see what the survivors have in store.
Look, this is a 5-gen. This nurse has a 5-gen.
Yeah, she does, and also a noise notification over there suggesting where the survivors may have gone. A little bit of progress as well on that gen near the hill. Nurse hearing that too will go back and take a look.
What is this gen? I'm shocked. What is this gen spread? Look at this.
Yeah, it is quite rough for the survivors. However, I do want to note, there's 2 gens on that shack side that they can start cranking out right away.
True.
And they just need to break into 1 more gen thereafter, even in that 5-gen. But Serena trying to bring them away from the main side. And there's the Firecracker trying to play around that Blake. However, Nurse going into the base, not able to get out in time.
No.
This might be a really early and very costly mistake.
Very possible. Oh my word, that almost hit. Yeah, it's a very good point. They have really good RNG here, but no guarantees. That was such a good tech. I have not seen that actually work before. That was really well done. However, they do take a hit at the window. Doubling back. Will they vault through? They will not. Planet will be going down here. Just a matter of,
Planet trying to force the locker play, but there's the first gen completed. And I believe
it's middle.
That is in the 5-gen, meaning that there's 2 gens out on Shaq's side that these survivors can start to work on. Deadlock will slow things down just a little bit as we do see those entity blockers there on our left of Shaq, but now it comes down to these last 2 gens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we even heard it briefly when the nurse was taking chase in the beginning that 2 survivors did jump on that center gen, and very well done by them to get that center gen done. It's going to be that might be what they need. That might be the leverage they need here. Is this nurse? That was a really good setup, but they did such a good job with that first chase. Yeah, corner gen over here starting to be worked on. I think the survivors have given themselves the leverage they need to pull this out. At first, I was really concerned. Actually, Nurse does find a survivor out here, and this is the injured Zarina.
Yeah, this will actually be a really huge down if they're able to get it, though. They are contemplating going back to Shaq for the tunnel out, though. Looks like they are going to find the Zarina instead. Blood on the window suggesting a vault occurred, but no sign of them as they're just hugging that outside wall and dodging that hit, which will give them a little bit of extra time and ideally some more time for either E1, the Rebecca, or Laser. And we will see another locker tech as Zarina will go down.
Absolutely, we do see that explosion in the corner, so that is an eruption to boot. So we know a couple of perks now from this killer, very similar to what we saw with the Blight, having to make that, that final stand. And they do have 2 hooks here, however, we don't know what generator is being progressed now. This hill gen has about 50% on it, and yeah, Nurse has their sights on it. Wondering maybe if there's a second survivor that was here as well.
Yeah, Nurse taking a look around, and they will, in fact, get a bit of pop. Goes the Weasel value right here, and it was about 80%, so probably a good chunk of that gen has now been regressed thanks to pop, and with a reapplication of Eruption 2. We do see a skill check miss there in main.
I'm about to say, is that a skill check miss? Is that intentional? Is it red hair? I can't ever tell because skill checks are... No, that was just a skill check that they missed. That could be very damning for these survivors. That's 10%, and that gen was really far progressed. That could have been a finished generator.
Yeah, very possibly. We do see Ada going back and forth here. We will note that all 4 survivors off of hooks, 3 currently injured, including the Ada, who will go down at the window.
Quite so, and maybe seeing a survivor over here? Oh, this has a lot of perk progress, actually. That's kind of surprising. So multiple generators all across the map have significant progress. And this Nurse is juggling it for the most part, but I can't help but feel like a critical mass will be reached very shortly here.
Yeah, with enough gens progressed, even pop Eruption, it's going to be kind of rough.
I would tend to agree, and even now, you get this hook, you go upstairs, you pop the generator upstairs. You still got the hill gen on the opposite side of the map. I guess you just have to concede that one of those generators is going to have to go away. But I don't know. That generator off in the corner, the fact that that middle gen is broken gives me... I get the feeling that Nurse, despite playing really, really well so far, is... I think it's an uphill battle now. That 5 gen was a good blessing, but not able to take full advantage of it as the Survivors... Honestly, the Survivors did really well. They identified that there was a 5 gen and broke the most pivotal gen. That was the single most pivotal gen to break.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They did a fantastic job there. Seeing that this gen does have a bit of progress, but not as much as I was expecting. Honestly, that Papa's Weasel earlier maybe regressing it by just enough. We do find Serena once again, and looks like the Nurse will miss on the hit as Serena does make their way in through Shack.
Indeed. Pre-dubbing that pallet, wanting to force it out, and they do get the hit the second time around. Laser getting a reset as well. However, the Serena is second... Yeah, she'll be second phase here for hooks, but she is going into this corner and wasting as much time as possible. Look at the amount of line of sight block this Serena's doing. This is amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, Serena's doing exactly what you need to do against Nurse. You don't need to unnecessarily run these tiles. Instead, sometimes running the edge of the map, as we see here, is just such a good play. It really does restrict what the Nurse is able to do, and it looks like Serena will end up getting away, escaping that chase as Nurse is concerned about the progression of these gens. You hear the second gen popping off. There's the Claudette taking a hit, and looks like the gen in the corner is the most progressed.
Yeah, which is concerning because the gen, if you hear behind them, is really well progressed, and that means the one upstairs has also got a pretty significant amount of progression as well. We might be seeing 2 gens pop here in short succession. This is really close, and they... Oh, no. Not able to get the hit to possibly pop Eruption there. And it's going to be wasting more time from this Claudette. Really well. Honestly, Survivors are just doing such a good job on these loops.
Yeah, noticing that these locker techs really just being used almost in every single chase. Saying, you know what, I'll just waste as much time. Every second counts. And looks like we will get a hook here on the Claude. This time putting her on the second stage. She is 1 hook away from being sent back to Campfire via the entity, but an almost instantaneous unhook and renewal activation.
Yeah, renewal just so good. Now there is that 3rd generator. That is the tie condition met. Therefore, Eviscerate's pulled it out.
Yeah, and Rebecca just here being the freaking gnat to this Nurse, just buzzing around, stopping that blink, and getting the Claude that renewal value that they need to stay in the game. I mean, at this point in time, it's possible that we even see a 4th gen and potentially some escapes, I think, at this point.
It's very, very possible. Impressively done. And again, it's crazy because, yeah, they got the renewal value, and then Claudette also able to take hits. There's a good chance that this Claudette also has decisive strike from this play.
I mean, I don't know. It would make sense jumping into that lock
Oh
right there.
my
Sure
goodness.
enough, there's the decisive, and we do see that 4th gen completed. I mean, these Survivors have played absolutely amazing, and really just working around that 5 gen, understanding how to just extend these chases by seconds, and seconds have won them this match right here.
Absolutely, just such incredible play. Just tight-knit, very coordinated. You can tell this team has played against their fair share of Nurses on Cold Tower, and they know the strats. Despite having a beautiful 5 gen, just really pushing, and like the pressure from this team has been disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. So that being said, the last gen completed, that there will be a GG. Well played to both teams, and congratulations to Eviscerate as they will walk away with a victory here in semifinal number 2, and they're going to be going up against Eternal in tomorrow's finals match.
Yeah, just I'm still shocked that the level of play that we have seen today has just been astounding. From the Blight game that was incredible, Nurse says, yeah, get out of here. You know, I feel that sometimes, but regardless, incredible play from both sides, and yeah, Eviscerate just... I have not seen Eviscerate come out and play like they did today. Eviscerate came to fight, and it is very apparent. They did very, very well. I was impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. But nonetheless, GG well played to both teams, as I said earlier, and we will see Trauma once again tomorrow for the bronze match, so definitely keep an eye out for that as we'll announce the schedule for tomorrow's matches. But with that being said, thank you all for joining us today, and Rue, thank you for joining me as well. Definitely always a fun time casting with you. And with that being said, that there will end today's matches.
It's kind of crazy. We talked about it a lot, and I always go to this, but it's crazy how fast these seasons go for us on the back end. It really felt like we had just started season 5 like a couple weeks ago, and it's blown past. And season 6 just around the corner. I know it's gonna start and be like, oh yeah, season 6, let's go, and I'm gonna blink and season 6 will be over too. These seasons go by too fast. Can we make a season go a year long? Is that okay? Can we do that?
Probably not, but with that being said, that there will end our stream today. With that being said, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank y'all for joining us today. And with that being said, we'll see you soon.
Take care, everybody.